It is Saturday night once again, and that felt super long. I think it's only like 30 seconds longer than most of them, but God, that took forever.
That's what she said.
She wishes. Uh, so this is the Overnight Mouse Party. I am Dan Foss, and so far we've got gun websites. How's it going, G-Webs?
Fair to Midland. I remember going out in the jungle that time looking for Aaron and all of his henchmen, and I didn't know anybody had brought a video camera though.
It's kind of weird on that. On that video, I forget what the software we had talked about that AI website before the one I can't remember what different kinds, because there's different lengths you can do, and whatever the standard one is I think you'll end up with like 5 minutes. So I wanted a shorter one, and there's one setting that's short movie. So I did the short movie on that one, and it was an 8-minute. So that's pared down from 8 minutes. But it's kind of weird in the helicopter scene there with the pug. As the pug's moving, his dingus is moving. So the AI took a lot of time to get the dingus physics correct.
Nice. I'm sure the pug is happy about that. He likes his dingus moving.
Yeah. So are you trying to hack us with your QR code? What's going on there?
This so people can scan, get themselves a great deal on some kind of bargain, or I don't know, some kind of great deal today or something. I don't know. I was just playing around looking for an icon.
And Gizzard Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm trying to figure out if that last helicopter had dual tail rotors, because it looked like it did almost.
Well, the AI, especially the free stuff that I'm using, is not super duper powerful. So it's not as good as some of the stuff you see on the YouTubes.
It could be some super secret, military device that not everybody's aware
of. Could be. I don't know.
How often are you running out of a place and they shoot out your tail rotor and the helicopter crashes? But if you have two tail rotors, they can shoot one out and you can still get away.
It's true. You have
redundancy.
You can't understand them frogs.
But they're the DM Foss website is up and running. It used to just redirect to YouTube, but now it's an actual sort of website. There's not much there, and most of it is links to the playlist from YouTube. And actually, I want to take a look, because I'm hoping that the live stream is streaming to it.
There's a link.
So I'm not sure if it'll do the live stream, but it should. Yeah, it's not doing the live stream. But when this is done, I think it's supposed to update. So the newest live stream will be there, hopefully. So I think that's what it said when I was trying to figure all this out. And a big thank you to Baron SVG and Cowgirl Candace, my IT department, for helping me get everything up. And there's a merch store. I've got merch. I felt dirty doing it, but
why?
You don't feel like there's something weird about how that same person that is going to help you fix your website is also the world, and we have to go into the jungle to take them out?
Well, it's a love-hate relationship. It's complicated.
Uh-huh.
So worked on getting some designs up, and they're. I was trying to find a printing company that was maybe a little looser on copyrights, just because some of the parody designs usually get flagged for copyright. And I think Printify, I was uploading to them, and then they flagged one, had it in review, and then just flagged everything else, whether it was original or not. So I found one where they had just straight up copies of copyrighted material. So I thought, okay. And this morning I was uploading stuff, and all of a sudden the screen went blank, and they deleted my account.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well,
one of the other places that I had uploaded some stuff, the designs were still there. So I uploaded some more that are a little less on the nose. So we'll see if those stay up.
A few years ago, before I had a color printer, I printed a pretty decent size color picture of my channel logo on a 8.5 by 11, but I sent it to Walgreens to be printed. And they made me sign an affidavit before I could pick it up that I owned that any logos in that image, or they wouldn't release it to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, it's my creation, for crying out loud.
But so, while I'm thinking, let me get the banner going here. At the bottom of the screen, there's an email address, untitledfoss@gmail.com, and a link for the Discord server, a happening cool place to hang out, share memes and pictures and stuff. And you can send comments and suggestions and pictures within reason to the email address.
Oh, there's limits. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to see your dingus. But so there is a website, and I'll probably be tweaking it as time goes by, as I figure out what to fine tune things. But it's I've had that website for a while, and then I forgot that I had the website for probably at least a year, and then Baron set it up so it would just redirect, so it was actually doing something. And then I decided to actually do something with it, so it's kind of a single page website.
What is the website?
But so let me see who is out there so far. Gizzard Gary, the Saint, Mr. Bob Dobalina, Vulcan Rumble is here, and Burnaby Sanchez, Jacob S. staying up late with us. Good evening. And I saw Larry sneaking in there, staying up late. He's a daytimer now. He's one of them. But I'm happy to see you. Oh, I guess I'll put the website. Oh, yeah. So the website is www.dmfoss.com. And for right now, I think you have to do the www. I need to go in and
you do.
get the settings fixed so you can just put in dmfoss.com. You used to be able to, but I think with I went in and fiddled with it, trying to get it to, try and be a big boy and get it done on my own, and I might have screwed something up.
Yeah, domain registration is tricky.
So I'll have to get back with Baron and have him help me. But so North Carolina has a permitless carry bill working its way through. So you don't need a carry permit. And also there's a bill for background checks to limit, because right now they check your medical, so your psych and everything. If you have an STD, so there's a bill to limit to basically where when they do the medical check, it's just a yes or no rather than dumping all the information that's in your medical record. Not sure exactly, but that's kind of the breakdown that I saw, the short video that I watched. And Nebraska has a bill that will ban keeping registries. So if you're a gun owner, they can't keep your name unless you're under investigation for a crime. And I think it's only, not sure if it's just for the time of the investigation, but so there's a bill to stop registries from happening in Nebraska. So that's good. And I've been seeing a lot of people upset with the Trump administration and Pam Bondi, because a lot of people say they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's only been a month. It's been a month. He's been,
it's 3
been
months.
president for a month. Pam Bondi's been, what is she, AG?
Yeah.
For less than a month?
No, it's been
maybe a month.
It's mid-March. It's almost the end of March. So it's been since mid-January. So it's been at least 2 full months, but more like it spans 3 months. But you're right. There's a 4-year thing to deal with. But when you say a lot of people, I've heard more people super happy about the executive order and the follow through on that versus I've only heard one person really that is big that's complaining about it. Everybody else is just either neutral or super happy about it.
It may be a little skewed. I've seen a couple big channels and some smaller channels complaining about it. They're not doing it. They're not doing it right now. It's not done right now. It's like, it's only been a month. Trump is not the president of the 2A. Pam Bondi is not the AG of the 2A. They've got other shit they have to do. It's only been a month. It may turn out they don't do anything. And it's fine to keep pressure on them to make sure they do it, but don't throw a tantrum just because it didn't happen right now. It's been a month, 2 months. Stuff takes time.
Well, and what is the full expectation versus how much have they done? So, what do you expect them to actually be doing? And then how many steps does it take to get there? And are they on that course?
Yeah. And, the executive orders are good and fine. It's a good first step, but basically any executive order is a temporary order because it can be reversed by the next president. So
we ignore them because they go one way or the other. Obama threw 23 of them at us. We were supposed to go, they're going to be overturned by the next president, so we'll just deal with that tyranny. Like, I get it. I get the concept, but I don't think we need to, you know what I mean? Like you said, they're not there for one thing only. So I think it's, what's the word? Like it's more realistic to understand that they're going to have to do other things. I mean, there's an economy that's not in great shape. that they have to deal with. It's like on everybody's plate first. Then there's international stuff. We can't expect them to just like put all that stuff on pause while they do this one issue first and only. Like, so that's all I'm getting at. And then what do we expect them to do in 4 years? They're not gonna. I mean, there's nothing that a president can do in any amount of time to change things. All he can do is be on the side of freedom while the laws are changed or written or whatever. I'm not trying to give him a pass, but I think I agree with you that like unrealistic expectation to think that he would stop everything and just do 2A stuff.
And I think I think the push should be rather than the 4 years, because the midterm elections, you don't know how the Senate or Congress is going to go. They could flip back. So I would say a push for stuff to get done in 2 years, and then if they maintain majority, push on those last 2 years to get more stuff done.
I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming this is a discussion, but I don't think that the president is the one who is somehow responsible for all of this stuff, like the country's opinion on guns. That's up to the country, right? So
Yeah.
we can either sit there and wait for the people who hate guns to change their minds somehow, like for some reason they're just going to change their minds because we're going to want them to over here, or we can influence their ability to change their mind by behavior, actions, and how we deal with what's thrown at us. And all we do is we get a lot of practice of dealing with what's thrown at us because we sit around waiting for things to be thrown at us. But we have yet, as a community, as a industry, and as a group of people, like a culture or whatever we're called as gun owners, because we're not the same. Other than owning a gun, there's very few things that are the similar, right, amongst any of us. But that's a power, and right now we haven't been harnessed. We haven't our diversity and our adversity, is that the right word? Like our ability has never been tested. We have a lot of potential over here, but all we've ever done is been really good at complaining when we get poked, and like that's about it. Like, when have we ever done anything offensively? Like, we really have tried a couple of times, but we haven't gotten very far. Like the National Reciprocity and the Hearing Protection Act, I think that was a pretty good example of the industry at least being willing to accept some initiatives in common. But it's not like the industry sat around and said, let's all do this first. Like, we all said, oh, look what's happening, we all agree with that, with the Hearing Protection Act and National Reciprocity in 2018. But after that died in 2018, we haven't had any kind of consistency or any kind of national level unity to be able to do anything. So anyway, I think that we give too much power, or we expect too much from the actions of the president to expect that we can just sit here and watch for 4 years and have our bidding done for us. I think that I've complained about this forever. This is no new thing, but
Yeah.
I'm about to say national level organizations have an opportunity here to actually change the dynamic by changing the understanding and the misunderstandings about guns. But that's how we change this. We don't expect I don't think we expect the president to just somehow come up with some way to tell the anti-gunners, hey, calm your jets. I think that we as gun owners, just like people who drank, didn't say like, hey, we're not all bad. We're going to have designated drivers now. And that way, one of the negative consequences of drinking on society is going to be challenged and dealt with through ourselves and through the community. And once we come up with whatever the equivalent is of designated drivers for guns, and I don't know how you want to take that, but just something that is done as a social benefit from gun owners, that's how we change it, so that the president can just sit there and sign a bill. But to expect the president to somehow change our culture is weak, and we're just not really paying attention if we think that somebody else is going to change culture for us. I'll get off my
Yeah, no, and when I'm talking about the push, I mean the collective pushing, not just the president, because I don't think Trump is pro-gun per se. I don't think he really cares. He's a businessman. He carried a gun.
He's not afraid
but
of guns.
He's a populist. So whatever the most popular opinion is, and most politically advantageous to him, I think that's what he'll support. But I think if a bill comes to his desk, he'll sign it. That's why, a big push now is the time to push now.
Correct. Yep. This is a time when the door has the ability to open. I don't think they're going to open it for us, but if we were to open it, they're not going to immediately close it. I think you're right that he's a populist. That's a good way to explain it. And that since he's not afraid of guns, he's willing to do stuff with guns, but he's not so interested in guns that he sees that as a pathway to a better future by, correcting the misunderstandings on guns, which I think is a great opportunity. He just doesn't see that, doesn't champion that. But I think you're right that if there was any kind of positive stuff that was popular-ish, he would go with it, I think. I've heard people recently suggesting that the bump stock thing was some sort of 4D chess. And, this was the only way to have this done was through the courts, and the only way to get it to the courts was to screw with it. So somehow by screwing with it in his last, what do you call that? In his last time he held office, that he was somehow, setting the volleyball thing up to be spiked down, and now we have the way that we want.
Yeah, Four Boxes Diner has said that.
Yeah, he kind of alluded to that, right? And there's people
But
on that side of the fence.
I like his channel, but there seems to be there were a few lawyer channels that were kind of 2A lawyers that I would watch, so I could learn and stay in touch with what's going on. But all of them seem to have turned political, and Four Boxes Diner has slowly turned political, where it's not just 2A stuff. He's talking more politics, and he was on, I think, the Trump's first term transition team. So, when he talks about Trump is the greatest man ever. It's the way he makes it sound. So it kind of tints what he says now for me. It's not that I don't trust him. It's just I don't know how to describe it.
Well, he ain't impartial.
Yeah.
But he was there for years, and now Trump is there. I don't think he's going anywhere, but I don't think he was there for years so that he could be there when Trump was there again. You know what I mean? I don't think
No.
this was a game or something. I just think he just digs Trump, like you're saying. He worked for him or whatever. So he's just taking all the opportunity he can to say, like, Trump was right. Trump did it was, whatever Trump did was the right way to go.
Bernie B. Sanchez says, I'm a bit skeptical about Pam Bondi, but we'll see. And Burnaby also said, remember Trump opened the door with the bump stock ban. And Defense Dad is out there. Good evening. Must have woke up to go to the bathroom or something.
The show's going hyperspeed, but we're all looking out the back window, I guess.
Yep, just watching it go by. Also, there is the National Reciprocity Bill kicking around. I know there was two slightly different bills, one in the Congress and then one in the Senate, and I can't remember which one was better, but I think the one that's being pushed now is the Senate side.
I don't think any one of them can be better. I think it's a dumb thing to push.
I'm okay with it. It's not perfect by far, because it's the way it is if you're okay to carry in your state, then you can carry in other states. As long as you follow their laws in their state. So it's
The premise is fine. The authority that it gives the federal government is unnecessary, and I don't like that part of it.
What then I think the other problem is if we do get it, that's great because then you can carry in other states, which, even states that are not as 2A friendly. But I think it'll be a big movement and then everything stops because it'll be treated like an end goal rather than a stepping stone to just being, free and open you carry because it's the Constitution. It'll be better because you can carry, but as long as you follow all these rules, where instead of trying to get it pushed farther where it's you're not relying on the government says it's okay, but you're not relying on the government to say it's okay. I don't know. Goddamn bacon's out there.
Well, for example, it's national reciprocity. That's what it's called. And we already have constitutional carry in all 50 states. Not constitutional. We already have concealed carry in all 50 states. So what do we even need it for? Like, we already have concealed carry. We're just going to give the power to this country to tell the states what to do with their permits. Like, a lot of people don't like federal authority. I don't see why they'd get behind this piece of federal authority.
For the most part, I would agree with you. And we've had this discussion a few times, where when it comes to the Constitution, and then the federal government saying, yes, this is the Constitution, everybody follows the Constitution. Whereas if every state would just follow the Constitution, that'd be great. But when they don't, then the federal government tells them you need to follow the Constitution.
And there's got to be some reason for that, right? Like some precedent, some like instigation for that. Because the opposite or an opposite of that, like the other side of that, is just the states leave each other alone. And if the states ain't leaving each other alone, then why not let the courts deal with it? Like, why not let somebody sue a state? Okay, I got a concealed carry in my state. Why can't you let me use it in your state? You have concealed carry. Let the courts figure it out instead of the executive department deciding, again, at the discretion of the head, the president, who's elected. We're going to run it this way, which is open to the next president being elected to go, no, we're not going to run it that way anymore. Just like we're seeing Trump change a bunch of stuff that Biden was doing. Like he's, had concern with any executive action. So that's where, I guess what I'm saying, where's national reciprocity coming from? Is it going to be, if it's a law, then it's going to still be a law that can be challenged in courts. So if it's going to come down to the courts challenging it, why even make it a law? Why give the federal government any hands in the first place? Let someone, like, again, these national level organizations are so happy to sue everything. That's like their number one weapon in their inventory is lawsuits. So why don't they find some lawsuits where we challenge as states the interaction between the states and let the federal government just do the interaction, get involved with the bickering between states, as opposed to deciding here's a brand new federal law that everyone has to listen to, even though you already have to. Have this law.
I would be fine with that.
And I'm just coming up that my butt. I'm no lawyer or like no political strategist, but I'm just saying there's got to be other ways to accomplish our goal of the federal government basically telling the states, hey, quit bickering. You all have constitutional, I keep saying that. You all have concealed carry, so figure it out. I mean, I don't know what happened with driver's licenses because this had to happen like before we were born, didn't it? I don't know when driver's license.
It was like the 20s.
Yeah.
When the states agreed to acknowledge everybody else's driver's
Because
licenses.
there had to be something where people were like, well, we got a New York driver's license, which means we're better than those like North Carolina driver's licenses where those people live in the Hicks or whatever. You know what I mean? There had to be some kind of problems with driver's licenses, and I don't know how that all got rectified. I don't even know if it's a good, example, or what's the word, like if it's a good, if it's the same as what we're dealing with here or not. But it's the only thing I can think of that's where the national got involved with state level stuff. And I don't even know if it's that big a thing. I just don't like the idea of casually giving the federal government another touch to anything that has to do with two. I just don't like the idea of like, oh yeah, let's default to whatever somebody just comes. Where did reciprocity come from? Yeah, as far as I know, I never heard of it until 2018, and I'm out driving around doing the tour, and all of a sudden I'm hearing about national reciprocity, and I had the same concerns back then. Like, where the hell did federal government come in with anything with our carry? Like, we don't like carry permits in the first place. Why do we want to give them to the federal government? And it all got killed or it all got shot down. Is that the right way to say it? Because of Vegas, which is bullshit. And now there's this like resurgence of it again out of nowhere. And it's not like, I guess what I'm saying is, it's not like the GOA sat down and had a bunch of best minds in the country decide national reciprocity is our fight, or like the Second Amendment Foundation has been doing this since like the 1980s, trying to get national reciprocity. This is just some new thing that came around in 2018 because some freaking somebody in the Congress or somebody came up with it. When did somebody in the Congress ever come up with anything good? Like, they're just usually knee-jerk reactions to shit, or like half-assed educated assumptions on shit. So until I hear the national reciprocity came from somebody like a Four Boxes Diner, got a whole bunch of nerds together and they decided this was the best way to go, and why we, like kind of like Heller, like we need to have this, then maybe I can be persuaded. But as far as I know, just some representative came up with it out of her butt one day, and everyone said, hey, it's pro-gun, so we're going to vote for it. And then, well, the national level organizations are so worried about suing everything. Anytime anything positive happens, they have to be behind it because they don't put any scrutiny into it. Thus, that's why we have them supporting national reciprocity when it's a dumbass move, I think. So anyway, I'm just saying, it's not like national reciprocity was like some key move on our chess game. It's just some guy came up with it, or some chick came up with it, and a bunch of people backed it because it wasn't anti-gun. And I don't want to be obliged to like everything just because it's not anti-gun.
Mr. Knives is out there. Good evening.
Mr. Knives is pro-gun.
He's also pro-chocolate.
I heard he doesn't take a side on chocolate. He just is pro-chocolate.
I can get behind his platform there.
I can too.
It's a chocolate platform.
And I believe
the
there
trick
should
is not
be.
to stand in one spot for too long, because then you start to sink into the chocolate. But if you walk around, you don't get enough body heat, and you can stay on the chocolate.
And you should be able to carry your chocolate from one state to another.
All kinds of chocolate, including dark and white chocolate?
Yes. Preferably dark, though.
Oh, I don't know. Is there any other 2A news going on right now?
Yes.
Those were kind of the bigger ones that I've been hearing about.
Nobody hears about Colorado. I barely hear 3 sources that are in Colorado, talking about Colorado. And didn't Oregon have something happen recently? Or am I crazy?
They did, and I don't remember. I think it had to do with, I think their state Supreme Court upheld something anti-gun. Oh, the other thing was the Ninth Circuit upholding California's 10-round magazine limit, which was kind of expected. When it went en banc. And I was going to ask your opinion on that. The Judge Van Dyke that did the dissent video. I I thought it was good. When I saw the title of it, I wasn't sure because I'm not a huge fan of the judges doing videos and being pop stars. But um, he
Was he
laid it
trying
out.
to be
I don't think so.
like he wasn't? This wasn't like a run for popularity or some sort of like flash, like
No,
cheap
because
shot, right?
he kind of addresses that he could do this in writing, just do the dissent in writing, but I can't remember exactly what all the reasons he said, but I think it was good that it was on video because then you can see what he's talking about because it's not. I didn't think it was super technical. I've seen some people criticize him over it, but
Because he was too technical.
yeah,
No, I don't know what they want then, because that was definitely not too technical. It was
I didn't think so. But
respectfully, like knowledgeable, but it wasn't trying to fucking like whether they want to like use a bunch of jargon and stuff to like impress people or something. Like you needed to get it across to people who don't understand and don't want to understand really.
unfortunately, I don't think it'll have that impact. But I think overall, it was good.
Just because you can't hit a home run doesn't mean you shouldn't take a swing, right? And like this
Yeah.
is something that needed to happen. And just because someone refuses to acknowledge that it was an effort doesn't mean that the effort wasn't necessary. Well, I don't say necessary, but wasn't a useful effort. I mean, I think it was a necessary effort because I really think we need to change awareness and education. And in my opinion, when someone doesn't give a shit about the topic, you can't make any content that would educate that person because they don't care about the topic. So the best thing you can do is just start putting down education sources, or I guess education content, so that when they feel like it, or if they ever feel like it, or if someone near them or adjacent to them ever feels like it, that there is something for them to find. So in that respects, we need everything we can get that's positive and correct as far as education. But I think, yeah, I don't think it would be, again, be unrealistic expectations to expect one video from one judge to have much impact other than part of the bigger picture where we have a whole bunch of things by more than just judges, but hopefully by law, we call it representatives and some efforts by the executive branch, which we've seen already, but to also aid in education and awareness. Right now, there's a bunch of people that think you can like that guns are magic, and we're fighting that mindset. We're fighting that
Yeah.
reality in their heads. We're not even fighting like a realistic reality of what guns are, and that's either not focused on or not understood or accepted by most of the strategies. But the strategies often go at this like we're dealing with people who are rational, understand guns, and are playing fair with us, like uh, as far as facts and stuff. And it's not the case. Some of them don't understand the facts. Some of them don't want to understand the facts. Some of them are going to manipulate the facts, and some of them have a twisted reality of facts because of the movies and stuff. And I think that's, again, it's real difficult for us to expect that the other side is on the same wavelength as us when they are not, and they have no need. There's no law for them to be. They don't have to be. We should be fighting them as if we understood that they're all over the spectrum as far as anyway.
No, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but a lot of ignorance and fear about guns. Just on on the neighborhood app, the people, any loud noise you hear outside, and somebody will say, "Was that a gunshot? I heard a gunshot. I know gunshots." Somebody will say, "No, that was a car that backfired. I saw the car backfire. I know gunshots. That sounded like a gunshot." Not every loud noise is a gunshot.
But a lot of times, gun owners will wait until they know a car is going to backfire, and that's when they shoot their guns.
Mr. Bob said the problem with national reciprocity is you'll have to abide by the laws of the local jurisdiction as far as where, when, and what to carry.
Well, that's the same as we exist right now. And I don't know how it happened with driver's licenses, but yeah, if you live in a state I think the biggest example is what's it called? The obligation to inform. Some states you have to, if you get pulled over by law enforcement, you
Yeah.
have to announce that you're carrying. In other states, that's not an issue, and that's one that's hard to remember if you're not accustomed to it. You live like I live in a state where that's not an issue, so a lot of times you'll get stopped and they don't even talk about guns. Sometimes when you get stopped, it's the first thing they talk about. But in other states, because they're not as I don't know why, but it seems like it's the states where there's not as much carry permits, so they're not as accustomed to guns and stuff. And you don't tell them, and halfway through the interaction, you go, "Oh yeah, I got my gun on." Then they freak out, and you actually broke a law right there, and that's one that's tough to remember if you're not, if
Yeah.
you're not in that.
Yeah. Here
I
in
never.
Washington, there's
My
not
first
a
thing to
duty.
see a cop and go, "I've got a gun." It just seems so fucking weird.
In Washington, you don't have to say anything, and then it'll just be uh, the individual officer if they happen to ask or not. Yeah.
Right. You always have to respond accurately, but the same as if you had a knife or a razor blade in your pocket or something like you have to answer correctly.
Larry said it, accountability is skewed. It's not the gun, it's the person. That's what I mean. Should be a responsibility like driving a car. It's the person, not the thing. Yes.
Some states you can have your gun sitting openly on your passenger seat. Other states you absolutely cannot do that.
Right. That's a good point. So if you just drive that way, and well, most people are going to have it like jammed in the seat or something, and that's cool in their state. But they go into the next state, you can't, or 3 states over, more likely, because a lot of times what your neighbor states are.
Oh, I just had a
Nobody
thought.
cares about driving, like drinking coffee and driving. We care about texting and driving. Like that's a thing. Like you're not allowed to text in some states. You're not allowed to talk on the phone. In some states, like you have to have a speakerphone or a headset or something. In some states, but there's no laws against driving around with a cup of coffee. I think there's always going to be distracted driver charges or
Yeah.
on not paying attention to the road, which would cover it. But that's the same thing. It should be the same with guns and stuff. Like, okay, if you're driving around, your gun keeps falling off the seat and that's distracting you. It doesn't matter that it's a gun. It's that your fact that you were distracted, so you're getting a ticket. Like, we don't need a whole extra ticket to give somebody just because their gun fell on the thing.
I've been watching a lot of border security from Australia and Canada.
Australia doesn't have any borders.
Well, yeah, they do. They have borders. They just nobody touches their border. But with the Canada one, there'll be, like somebody coming up for vacation or go fishing or whatever, and they'll declare that they have a gun, and the border patrol freaks out because it's a gun. It. They're not waving it around saying I have a gun. It'll be, it'd be in its case in the trunk, and if you declare it, they'll just say you can't bring it in. You have to turn back, go put it somewhere, and then you can come back. If you don't declare it, they charge you with smuggling guns. It's just kind of.
I bet you 90% of the guns, quote unquote, smuggled into Canada are people that didn't remember they had it in their like fishing boat box or some shit. Like, like, oh yeah, I forgot I do have that pistol in that one bag that I brought with.
And so, I mean, from the show, there's probably 50% of them are people just thought that, some of them will say, well, I have a concealed carry permit. I thought it was okay. Like, well, now you need to check Canada's law, where Canada hates guns now.
Well, they've always hated guns, unless it was like a hunting rifle, I think.
Yeah, you can take hunting rifles, and they'll just touch them and look at them, make sure they're not loaded.
Or I'm sure hunting shotguns, same thing. They could care less
Yeah.
if you're breaking up something to hunt. They want you to do that. They're sick of birds.
Yeah, that's the kind of weird thing is you can have a short barreled shotgun in Canada. It's somehow less dangerous in Canada.
I don't know if that's still true. Like they've really wailed on their guns. I don't know if they still have short shotguns. I don't know for certain that they don't, but I'm just saying like there's been a lot of changes up there in the last years or so.
I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at their total list of stuff they've banned as of yet. But at least at one time, a couple of years ago, you could. Because there was, it was one of the revolver shotguns that you could get
A street sweeper.
No, it was looked more like a large revolver.
Oh, the Colt revolving rifle shotgun looking thing from Taurus.
But you could, theirs I think had the stock and the shorter barrel. And in the US you had to get the 16-inch barrel and it looked ugly.
Well, the problem with that design is you put your one hand, where you would on the revolver, and that's by where it would be on a rifle. But you go to put your other hand where you put it on a rifle normally, and your wrist is in front of the revolver cylinders or cylinders chambers, and you're basically cutting your wrist open every time you shoot that thing. And to remember to hold an old-fashioned, big long wooden gun like that, all goofy, like the way some people hold like marksmanship rifles, when you hold it by the trigger guard almost, like it's just a really awkward gun to carry or shoot.
Oh, I took the SIG P320 to the range last Sunday. And I did have I was getting some light primer strikes, but since I was with my buddy and we had a bunch of guns, I didn't have time to kind of work out.
While it was in the car and while it was in the case and then while you were cleaning it, it kept having light primer strikes that whole time.
Mine's lazy. It won't go off on its own. I have to tell it to go off. But it's really nice. It's at 10 yards. I was really happy with the group that it shot, and it's really comfortable. And it's 9mm, so hardly any recoil on it. I really, really like it. So I was using the 40 cal mags with 9mm in it. Most guns, well, I don't know about most guns, but some other guns will use the same mag for 9 and 40. SIG has 9mm or 40. So I ordered some 9mm magazines, and then we'll take that out, see if that clears up the problem.
Big difference. I mean, I can't imagine how they'd even work. Unless is it single stack or something?
No, they're double stack.
Yeah, I mean, you would think the 40 would be like the 9 would go way up into the 40 and not even be anywhere near in the right place to work if it didn't just pop right through.
Well, the feed lips on the magazine, I measured them. The 40 is like 0.35.
Well, it's angled too. It's like the angle that they hold them so that it's like it's presenting that next round for the bolt base. So it's that angle that it's presenting it at. There
is, from what I measured, there is a very minor difference, but there is a difference. So we'll see if that difference was enough to cause the problem. I don't know if I'll go tomorrow. They're doing rifle match up at the range, so I might wait till next week to get back to the range. But so far, I
Just drive
really
up to
like it.
Just drive up to Canada and shoot into Canada. Okay with that?
You could do that.
You just drive to the ocean and shoot at the ocean. Nobody cares about that either. As long as you're not hitting a boat. I feel like the whole East Coast and West Coast have like a whole unregulated firing line that they don't talk about, because all you got to do is not hit a boat and you could shoot out into the ocean all day. Who's going to know?
But if you hit a fish, do you have to have a fishing license?
Just don't hit fish.
Okay.
Shoot away from the schools. Shoot in between the schools. Oh crap! You can't say that shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I didn't even think. I was thinking fish, school of fish. School of fish. Didn't even think.
Just go out the international waters, do what you want.
Was that 3 miles?
It's like 20 miles.
Oh, I thought it was 3 miles.
Oh, for what? I think it's somewhere around 20 miles. And then the U.S., we made ours a little larger. So most countries, it's somewhere like 20 miles. And then the U.S., we said, nope, we're doing like 50. This is ours.
We got more stuff going on than other countries, though.
Just trying to think. I think that's most of the 2A stuff that I wanted to cover. My friend gave me, the one I went to the range with, gave me some 30-06. He's like, yeah, I don't even know why I have these. I don't know where they came from, but you can have them. There's 2 different kinds. They look like factory ammo. It's going to pull one apart so I could see, how much powder's in them.
30-06?
that? Yeah.
Okay.
30-06. And there was one
of the head stamps.
7.62 in there. They are
39?
what? Who?
7.62 by 39?
Yeah, there was one round of 7.62 in here.
What's that one? Let's stay on that one.
Now I got it. Hang on. Let's see if I can get it out of here. This one says 34. And there's one other.
36 says 34.
It's like 3 on one side and then 34 on the opposite side. That's all it says.
The 7.62 by 39, that's what it says?
Or is that 94?
94 makes more sense. 3 is like the
I
Tula
can't-
factory or something.
Hang on, let me grab a flashlight.
Or no, 3 is one of the Chinese factories. Is that a copper washed 7.62 by 39?
So it's 94.
3 is a Chinese factory, and then 94 is the year.
And then
And
the
then-
other side, I can't tell what that mark is.
Is it a copper or is
8?
it like a... What kind of case is it?
It looks like maybe an 8. It's, I don't know. Looks copperish, but it's got a lacquer coating. I don't know. Here, let me make myself bigger. Ooh.
Okay, yeah, that's a normal steel case with lacquer. Looks Russian, though.
I have no clue.
I forget what the Russian factory is with 3. but it looks like Golden Bear or something like that, or something tiger.
Well, like I said, he told me he doesn't even know where they came from. So
It's just 94, so it would have been the end of military commercial packaging, military ammo commercial packaging before they went to commercial head stamps and commercial packaging.
but 30-06, one of them just says Springfield ELD. The other says SPRGs, so Springfield 30-6 and R.P or P.P.
No date
R.P.
on it? No dates?
R.P. And it's got the lead tip
Oh, those are hunting
hunting
ammo.
around. Yeah.
Okay, I thought they were military.
And then the ELD is the looks like the little hollow point tip.
You're going to use them?
Well, like I said, I want to pull it apart, see how much powder's in it, and then probably will use them. Just make sure they're not like overcharged or anything. And
I mean, you're going to pull them apart and put them back together?
yeah,
You got a whole box of them, or you have two?
now there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 23.
Oh, okay. I thought you had two.
No, there's 2 different kinds that were in there. Garage guys out there, good evening. It's going pretty good. I have no complaints at this time.
Is everybody having a good 2025 so far? I think Gizzard is for sure.
Yeah.
If I can speak for Gizzard.
Can't complain.
It's going all right for me. You know, nothing catastrophic has happened, so that's a plus.
I'm assuming you didn't watch Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League.
No,
Do you watch DC animated superhero stuff? Like the Batman stuff?
not really. No.
Oh, okay. You haven't seen any of the Batman Ninja then?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm still working on finishing up the Star Wars Rebels. Almost done with it. It's good. The last season is really good, I think, for being kind of a kid's cartoon. It's always nice to
Well,
see that people
stuff
die in it.
It's a kid's cartoon, but yeah, like stuff happens in it. It's a chunk of Star Wars, like right, like you can't really know all of Star Wars unless you watch it. Like it's a is that canon or whatever. Like it's part
It
of
is.
the
It is. It does fit in there because there's stuff that happens in Rebels that is referenced later on in other shows or movies or whatever. And the main ship, the Ghost, shows up in, I think it's in Rogue One. I think it shows up in Rogue One.
And isn't there some tie-in to the Asuka TV show?
Yeah, Ahsoka is in it for a little bit, and there's rumors that because in this season there's the Jedi Temple, and then there's doorways that that lead through time and space. That they might use that to try and get rid of the all the stuff with Ray and all those garbage movies.
Well, that's what those little doors make it. Like, oh, we have doors and we can walk between different universes or different realities. And it's like, okay, well, then essentially you just made a big eraser that you can
Yeah.
disregard any bad Star Wars you don't like by suggesting that it's beyond some doorway that it wasn't supposed to go in, or wasn't on this timeline or whatever.
Yeah, there's been rumors floating around for a while that it's the forget what the name of that place. It's the Veil of whatever. But that's how they were gonna correct all the problems that have been going on with the Star Wars universe. Telos is out there. Good evening, and Mandatory Carry is out there. Oh,
I'm assuming nobody's been watching Reacher yet or at all.
no, I probably will. I just haven't got to it yet.
There's no reason to watch it week to week. I hate watching TV week to week, and I will go down with that ship. Like I lived enough of my life having to wait to see the rest of a show every week. I hate that. It's what programming is, and it sucks. And literally every other thing that's ever happened on television, you can just go watch. If it's 8 seasons long, just go watch all 8 seasons. You can sit there and watch it all in a row as your leisure. You know what I mean? Like you're watching,
Yeah.
Anytime you want. And then stupid Reacher. Like, no, you get into it. You can watch 3 episodes, but now you got to wait till the end of March or something stupid to be able to watch the whole thing. It's ridiculous. It's like living in the old-fashioned days. I hate it. I don't know why they do it. I guess they do it because, and the thing is, you're paying for these. Isn't this on Amazon? Like, we're paying for Amazon. I'm not paying to wait to watch this freaking show. You already made the show. Show it to us. If somebody wants to watch it every week, they can. Show it to us all. Anybody who wants to watch it once a week, let them. Like, they don't have to watch it all. Like, why are they making us suffer? I hate it.
There were some shows that would do that. I think they would broadcast weekly, but then if you were paying, you could also go in and then just watch the whole season.
I'd be okay with that because then the people that grab it would grab the whole thing.
Telos said Saturday gets to go pick up his KSG 12.
Are you pro or anti KSG 12?
What's that?
Are you pro or anti KSG 12?
I am agnostic. I know it exists. I don't know if I believe in it.
Gizzard?
I'm neutral.
Oh, okay. I'm pro. I like the innovation and it's still kicking, so I'm a big fan. Not for everything, but it's a shotgun, so all shotguns are not for everything.
Yeah, I have not seen one up close. I have not shot one, but I don't have a problem that they exist. I don't have an interest in getting one. But you should make a video. Definitely make a video shooting it. And even if you don't put it on the YouTubes, put it on the Discord so we can see. Garage Guy said he's neutral on the KSG 12. Don't have any experience. So what else is going on?
I was just
Nothing?
going through my thing that I watch my movies at to see if there was any sci-fi movies. There's one called The Electric State. Is that on anybody's radar?
Is that the one with the robots?
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard reviews where it sucks, but from the trailers and it looks really good. I mean the visuals look good, but I've heard the plot is terrible.
Yeah, no, that's exactly a good way to describe it. And I didn't know what it was except for looking at the cover. I didn't even know it was coming or anything because I don't watch Match Chat. That's where I used to know what movies were coming. But it had a robot on the front, so I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. It's you know how the way like Willy Wonka is made for kids, but then adults like it also.
Yeah.
It's not at the same level as Willy Wonka or nothing. I don't think it'll be a classic for decades or anything. But I think it's just supposed to be like that. It's like it's definitely a lot of effort in the production, like you say. Like it looks amazing, and the robots are cool. The world or whatever that it's in is really neat, but the story is a little kid story. So I could see somebody hating it because it's basically a little kid story. But yeah, it was a take on robots that are, how do you say, like that? You know, it's its own take on robots. It's got some touches of other things, but it's unique and it is really well done for sure. And like I say, a really interesting like flavor of a robot. Um, what's or like a universe. So it's like I think it was like in World War II they invented robots really good, and or maybe even earlier. So by the time now, robots are just a thing, and we're sick of them. So they push all the robots to like the desert, and kind of we kind of had robots, and they came and went. And these people have to go out into the desert and hang out with the robots. But anyway, so the robots are just like casually, really, really, really developed, and it's just not a big deal because in that universe, robots are kind of old. It's really interesting, and the way that it's done is a style that's I haven't ever seen before. But like
Attilo
there's
said,
in it.
remember the book of it? It's an
Oh,
art
there's a book.
slash storybook. It's more about VR and where people get addicted to it and eschew human contact.
Interesting. I don't know how they'd make it a book. Maybe that's why it looks the way it looks, is because they're trying to make a book kind of feel to it or something. Oh, this is on Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble and X, but nobody's over on X.
How are you getting to Rumble? Just like at Instagram, where you have to set it all up every time?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but you don't have to start and stop it like with Instagram.
What do you mean?
But I think you told me that you have to go over to Instagram and start it.
Instagram has to be open. Yeah. And then once you start your show over here, you have to watch that one. So, like 10, 20 seconds after you start, Instagram will recognize that you started. And then you have to hit start on Instagram. You don't have to do that, you're saying.
No, for all you have to do is go over to Rumble, set up the live stream, and then there's three pieces of information that you copy and then paste over into EVMux.
Yeah. But you also have to set it up on Rumble. Like, even though you set it up on EVMux, you have to also go set it up again on Rumble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a template on Rumble. So, I'll click on that template and then just change the number.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to get used to it and try it. I mean, every
And
single
then,
time I log on to my computer, or I check my email, I should say, I got more emails from YouTube taking off my videos because I made a video that 7 years ago that or 11 years ago that violates their stupid terms of service today.
yeah.
So I was over on Rumble for a while, but I have less than 100 people follow me on Rumble, and I have like on X, I have like 800 some.
And nobody says shit on Rumble. It's like, it's just it's not as active. So
The only comments I get are, I can see you're passionate about your content. I can help you with your SEO and
Oh, you
your
get
this
those
and your
too,
that.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I'm not used to spam. So if they can't help spam that platform, well, in my opinion, a platform that can't stop spam is only going to
Well,
be out for so long.
it's a little bit different because they also follow me. So they'll follow and then say, hey, rather than like on YouTube where they just say, hey, pay me money and I'll make you big.
Oh, I don't get any spam on YouTube. You guys get spam on YouTube?
It's been a while since I've gotten that.
It'll happen like for a week and then it's gone again. But like YouTube actually gives a shit about it. Like Rumble, if they're letting that shit go through, that's just an indication of how big their tech support, how big their infrastructure is. And they can't scale. That's the problem, is you can't scale. If you're going to let spam in, that means you're not at a point where you can scale.
Yeah, I only have, I think, 17 over on Rumble, and at least 2 of those are those spams. But I don't know. I figure why not? It's not that hard to set up.
Oh no, you'll never
so
get an
might as
audience
well.
if you don't put something there. If the audience doesn't show up first. So put something there. What's the bracket supposed to be about tonight? I wasn't sure what it said here.
No, you can't. I had a cylinder that was missing. It wasn't firing, and so I was working on it. I was driving the bracket around the block, got pulled over, and they confiscated the bracket. They said the radiation emissions were too high, so I have to wait until I get the bracket back.
That's not your fault. You didn't build it. Plus, have they even calibrated their nuclear radiation detecting equipment? A lot of times they've been hanging out next to a microwave and that stuff's all out of whack.
I don't know. I got to wait for it all to shake out and then. Mr. Bob said, did you show him your carbon credits? I didn't. I used mine when the last time I went to Reno. I used up my carbon credits. And Gary's over commenting on X, so there's a comment. So what's coming up? What you guys got coming up? Have a good night, Larry.
So what's coming up? Oops. What you guys got coming up? Sorry about that. I got a show on Monday.
You do.
I don't know if it'll be any good, but you might come by and check it out.
Well, it's the effort that counts.
9:00 Central, the only time zone that matters.
Oh, there was something I was going to mention, G-Webs, from your chat today. I forget what it was.
With Tony?
Yeah. Because I was like normal. It's about the time I go to bed. So I was listening while I was in bed. And you guys were talking about something. And I meant to bring it up.
Gun related or non-gun related?
I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't anything super important. It was just something that caught my attention. And I don't recall what it was, like normal.
A lot of times people tell us that our show is singularly able to put them to sleep. So you're lucky that happens right at your bedtime.
I don't know. You got anything?
Tackle. It's boring enough to put people to sleep. So we have that special skill.
Well, it's not boring. It's chocked full of interesting and important information.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you think that there's a cycle of a gun owner, or that there's like a trackable set of cycles? Like, you get a gun and then I think there's definitely the, like, you get a gun, you don't like it, and you never get another gun. And then there's the, like, starting at the bottom. Then there's the get a gun, you're okay with it, but you just have no inclination to get another gun, but you're okay with your gun. Then you get the people that are like, oh, I really like this gun, and then I'm going to get my second gun, and then they're like, oh, this is a path that's going to never end. I'm going to stop here. I got my rifle and my shotgun, or I got my pistol and my rifle, or whatever their combo is, right? And then, you just extrapolate that on. Not very many people get to 25 guns, and then very few people get to 100 guns, right? So somewhere in there, everybody stops along the way. Like, is that a path that's I don't know what the word is. Like, is there enough people to fall into these uh, paths, or to these results, that you could say, like, of all these new gun owners, 60% of them are never going to own another gun, or 50% of
I
them are going to own another gun.
I think
Like,
that's just human
still on
nature. I don't think it's gun specific.
You're still on full screen, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's all about me, baby. I think that happens with everything. If
Oh yeah, no,
if
I'm not saying it's unique to guns. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that's the whole thing. It's a tendency. Like, some people get into cooking, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I bought a wok, and then I bought an air fryer, and then I stopped because I'll never stop buying stuff. I'm done cooking."
if cars didn't take up so much space, people would probably own more cars, and weren't so expensive. But
Well, that's interesting when you say that, because that makes me think of, like, the Teslas right now, and how a lot of people who bought Teslas because they thought it was a thumb in the nose to big oil, are hating Teslas because they hate Elon Musk now. And if that's the case, is it even possible to get anti-gunners to be agnostic to guns, which is our goal? Because they flip-flop on their issues. So, is that a audience that can't be dedicated to an opinion because they're so flip-floppy?
I don't know. And there's
topic. Sorry, I just took it in another direction.
I don't know, because there's the minority of people who are the shouty, break things, get all the attention, and it makes it seem like there's more of them. But I don't know if there's more of them now, or if it's just because of the news cycle that they're shown more now. I have not worked that out for myself yet. And not just them, but in general, is I'm not sure. And yes, I thank you for reminding me about the poll. We'll look at the poll here in just a second. So completely forgot about the poll. That was pinned to the top of the chat. So if you haven't voted in the poll, head over there and vote. Do you have an opinion, Gary?
On
what we were just talking about?
My mind just went blank. Please refresh my memory.
G-Webs, can you repeat the question?
Well, I kind of went two directions there. The second one was with people that go flip-flopping on the whole Tesla car thing,
Mm-hmm.
where 1 minute they like electric cars because they are so good for the environment, but then as soon as they don't like Elon, burn the electric car. If we were to appeal to them and say guns are so good, would that be futile? Because 10 minutes later, somebody would say, no, guns are bad, and they would just flip-flop. I guess I was asking, is it even possible for them to to leave guns alone? Like, can they? Because they're just so, I don't know, flip floppy. I don't know what the word is for that. Like, able to be manipulated, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know about that at all.
And then I forgot what we were talking about before that. We were talking about the show this morning.
Oh, well, I couldn't remember what I was going to mention about your chat. But this week's poll, let me refresh it. Make sure we're all up to date, and then I have to put newest first. Make sure all the comments that commented. So it was, do you reheat your leftovers? Yes, a hot meal is always better. No, it's a waste of time. Or what are leftovers? 86% said yes, a hot meal is always better. 9% said what are leftovers, and 5% said no, it's a waste of time. I do not reheat my leftovers.
Never?
Hardly ever. Rarely. It is very rare. Most of them, I will say, probably most of the meals I eat are cold. Like if my wife made something, since my schedule is the opposite of hers, then she'll put it in the fridge and I'll just eat it cold. If I happen to be awake when she makes something, then I'll eat it. Have a hot meal. And that used to be. She used to get upset with me for not reheating the leftovers. Because you're supposed to reheat leftovers. But she'd also get upset with me for eating while standing up because it's not polite. But,
Now, some things are better cold.
That's true.
Fried chicken, for one, is even better cold.
There was a barbecue joint that I didn't really like their barbecue when it was hot, but to me it was a lot better when it was cold.
And pizza, I'm kind of iffy on. Sometimes I'll reheat it, other times I won't.
Pizza in a air fryer or a toaster oven, ideally, is so good that I will not eat it cold anymore if I can help it. If there's a toaster oven in 10 minutes, I'm going to put it in the toaster oven. Because you get that all toasty, and I like that so much.
The Papa Murphy's pizzas, my wife used to freeze the leftovers, and then I would reheat them in the toaster oven, and they was good. It would crisp up, but I don't. In general, I don't reheat anything. I'll just eat it cold.
Like, I don't want to eat fried rice that's cold. That's cold rice is gross.
I do.
Well, my grandma used to say that she would make a bunch of oatmeal in the morning, and then there'd be leftover when Dad got home from football practice. He'd eat that cold oatmeal. I'm like, that's got to be nasty, but guess there's something to it. So,
I mean, with sugar,
my wife.
Maybe honey or something. Like, I guess it would be the thing, but yeah, that doesn't sound like the first thing I'd want to eat.
For a while, my wife got into where you just put whatever. I think she would put milk in the oatmeal and then just put it in the fridge, and so it would be there in the next morning, and it would soak up the liquid and be ready in the morning.
Yeah, that's got to be real similar, right? At least the final product has to be real similar.
Yeah.
Like a, I don't know what to call it, like almost like Jell-O, right? Like a solid thing that you eat. Like maybe like a pudding that's not stirred. Or maybe like a pie filling.
so you're talking about not cooking it, just mixing it together and letting it sit overnight.
Oh, yeah. You never heard of
Yeah.
overnight oats? That's overnight
No,
oats.
I haven't.
I don't know if the oats are different or not, but basically, yeah, you set it up, you put it in the refrigerator, you wake up in the morning. I think the best way to describe it is like a pie filling. It's
I have
going to
to
be like
try
the
that now.
consistency of an unstirred pudding.
Yeah, I don't know if she used like the quick oats, which are parboiled, so they're partially cooked already, or if she just used the old fashioned. I don't remember. She
And
doesn't
then
do it
people put
anymore.
like blueberries and chia seeds and all kinds of shit
Yeah.
in there, so that it's like a well, we keep saying like a pie filling. Really, is the way I keep thinking of it.
I don't think it would work with steel cut oats, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Because those have to be cooked for half an hour usually.
There might be some like preparation, right?
Right.
Looking at the comments, Fiend Dog said, though it depends on what the leftover is, cold pizza is good. Chris Lang, almost everything, not pizza. Fukuwaiti, some food is even better reheated. The goddamn bacon said, joke's on you. I cryo freeze my food before eating it, gives it extra texture. Vanessa Kitty, my Boston baked beans are made in such a way that when cold, you just spread them over toasted bread for sandwiches. I don't like baked beans. Sergeant Joe Smith said, I grew up poor. Whatever mom cooked the night before, the leftovers were breakfast before school and even lunch, if no school, twice a month. We went to go out to Happy Joe's or carry out Casey's Pizza. Leftover pizza for breakfast before next 2 or 3 days. Now I reheat leftovers on the stove or in the oven or on grill at work. It's a long post, so that's the crux of it. I guess Gary said that's the thing about possum innards. They're just as good the second day. Jed Clampett. George Grayson Cat said, I has no leftover. My human does, but he no gives to me.
Yeah, he always complains.
And Tim Allen said there were plenty of times when I was growing up that we were quite poor, not homeless poor, but had to make things stretch poor. So we didn't waste anything. That mentality has stayed with me.
You know what Sergeant Joe said, though? I had a buddy that used to, he would have for breakfast usually what was left over from the previous night's dinner. So he'd oftentimes have pork chops and veggies and stuff for breakfast. I always thought it was the strangest thing, but that's what he liked.
That's kind of what I do, but it's when you work graveyard, lunch and dinner and breakfast, it's all just the same. It's just a meal time because it's not you wake up and have a breakfast because you wake up and it's nighttime, or afternoon, depending on exactly when you wake up. So for me, there's no real lunch, breakfast, or dinner. It's just whatever the next meal is. So like if I make sloppy joes, I'll just keep eating sloppy joes for each meal until I'm eating all the sloppy joes.
If you eat breakfast at other times of the day, nobody bats an eye, right? They'll be on the menu. It'll say breakfast served all day, right? Like nobody cares.
Oh, yeah.
But if you eat a meatloaf in the morning, everybody's like, "What's wrong with you? What's going on? The world's different now." Even if you can't even order a pizza in the morning. I mean, they don't even open that early. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a whole breakfast stigma out there.
Unless you have a Casey's nearby, because they have a breakfast pizza.
Do they have it at breakfast though?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do they have all the pizzas at breakfast?
No.
It's breakfastism. You can't have a pepperoni pizza, which you can have any other time of the day. Can you have a breakfast pizza at 6 p.m.?
Yes.
See? Breakfastism. Breakfastism happening everywhere.
Yep.
No, that's just marketing for big breakfast.
That's a good point, yeah.
Well, there have been lots of times when we're in Vegas and we'll stop to eat at Peppermill, and a lot of times we'll just get the omelets there, even if it's dinner, because they're that good.
Was that a restaurant?
Yeah, on a strip there, not too far from Shot Show.
I was just gonna say that we made it through most of the chat without it acting goofy, and then it just acted goofy. I I had signed out and signed back in, hoping that it might reset whatever's acting up, but yeah, that's annoying. So, well, anything else you guys have to add?
I just feel like we haven't talked about science fiction stuff or that kind of thing in a long time in this show. So. Or is that not a part of these shows anymore?
No, I'm fine with it. It has been a while. I don't know what kind of scientific stuff did you want to talk about.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I've been using a lot of the AIs. Had some friends use some AIs. People have been paying attention to anything new with the AIs.
I haven't. I need to go in, do some more. I'm out of intros. I need to make up more intros and do some more AI pictures and stuff. But I haven't been doing a lot.
I discovered that the ChatGPT has the movie making thing, but my movies end up being pretty shitty. So it's kind of behind the curve to whatever you're using.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name of the one that I used was.
I just haven't played much with the movie stuff. Like I say, it's the results have been shitty, so it wasn't all that interesting to play with. So I didn't really play with it too long.
Just trying to see. I know I got an email from them recently, but
You made all the ones for the intro today for free.
LTX Studio. That's the one I've been using. Yeah, you get a certain amount of processing seconds. I don't remember what they call it exactly per month, and then
And that doing it day after day after day and saving them up, and then, or I mean, making a whole bunch of them and then adding them up, and that's how you got the intro.
Well, that was just sat down and worked on it.
Oh, that's just one session, one free session.
Well, it ended up being 2 sessions because I ran out of the processing time, so I had to wait until the next month to finish.
Oh, the next month.
Yeah, I was able to pick up right where it left off. It saved everything, and if I, it was a longer one, so it used up more than I had been because I think I was able to do maybe 2 of them, but before the short ones, and I didn't realize that this was going to be as long as it was.
All right, it's still pretty good then, because it was long. I mean, there was a lot of scenes or whatever.
Well, like I said, that was a minute and a half, I think, because normally the intros are about a minute and a half, so it's about a minute of whatever I did, and then there's the other 30 seconds is the beginning and the ending. The static with the picture, and then the static picture on the end. So they're about a minute, and this one was like a minute and a half, and that's cut down from like 8 minutes.
And is that like just a chunk of it, or is that the best pieces from 8 minutes?
those were the best pieces.
Okay.
So I went through and then I made a longer movie and then kind of edited it down. Oops, edit it down to a more usable length.
I have so much editing to do, or at least I have so many things to do if I sat down and edited that that would be interesting. I don't have any. I don't have hardly any AI footage, but it would be neat to take some of that and chop it up into whatever I'm going to be using. I should probably go in there and have, like, I have some drone footage, for example. Like, I've been flying the drone around, but you can imagine you fly the drone around for 3 minutes. There's probably like a couple of clips in there that are moments long that are interesting, but the rest of it's just nothing that nobody wants to watch. So you got to open up an editor and clip all the good parts out. And then what you're left with is like a couple of interesting moments that the drone was able to do. So you got to come up with something else to make it an interesting video. So if I got like the AI to make like the dog, flying the drone or something,
Yeah.
like that would be a good thing to put in there or whatever. Or the dog opening up the drone bag or something, or driving out to the place. Are you going to incorporate AIs into your editing, Gizzard?
Yeah, I'm going to look into it for sure.
Do you think they're using the AIs at the nuke?
I don't know. It's possible.
Like if there's some kind of AI safeguard or something, like we're about to do this procedure, and the AI can go. I would be okay with that. Or it'll go.
I
You're
have
wrong.
I have my doubts about that. But
It's
there's
like I
probably
figure it'll be
rules against it.
it's a little red dot on the wall, a little red LED light on the wall, and they have to walk up to it and go, "We're planning on doing this," and then the robot decides if it's okay or not.
I'm sorry, Gary, but I cannot do that.
I can't open the door, Gizzard. I'm sorry, Gizzard. You have to work for another 4 seconds. You can't
Let's start
leave.
singing Daisy, Daisy.
What is
Then
that?
you're in trouble.
What is that? Is that from 2001?
I can't remember if that was from 2001 or if that's from Dark Star. Dark Star was a sentient bomb that they were taking to blow something up, and it goes rogue. And it's not a great movie, but it was interesting. From the 80s, I think.
Well, it was somebody's first movie, right?
I don't remember. I guess I could take a look here.
Yeah, John Carpenter was it was one of his movies, one of his first movies.
Yes, it was done in 2001.
Oh, it was from 2001 also? Or it was in 2001, not Dark Star?
Which is significant because it actually is the first song that a computer was ever able to sing. In 1961, they got the IBM 7094 to sing it. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in Dark Star, the bomb gives a speech and says, "Let there be light," and then explodes. I think that's what happened. It's been a long time since I've seen the Dark Star.
Speaking of that, did you hear that somebody thinks that we might be inside of a black hole?
No.
There's some theory that we might be that the way to explain a lot of the stuff that are perplexing or like bigger than what we can understand, is that we could be inside of a black hole. I've seen that on Instagram though, so I like watching stuff like that on YouTube because then it turns into a 24-minute video or something that somebody researched or put some effort into. You see something like that on Instagram, and then it's like, you just scroll to the next thing, and it's some other, it's a picture of a turtle doing something. You got any new swords coming? We haven't
No.
talked about knives in a while. Are we allowed to talk about the new Sabivas? No, we still got a couple of days, I think, right?
Yeah, I think 27th is when.
I got a steak knife from them. Or not a steak knife, but a chef's knife, like a kitchen knife. I guess they're doing kitchen knives now. I'm going to go look at the ones you got. You posted the pictures of the ones you got, right?
Yes, I did on Discord.
Yeah, I got that. I didn't get the wood one, though. I got the white handle. I really, really, really like that one. And then I did get the same one as you, the Sen cut. I got the wood one. Oh, look what I can show you here. I don't know if you're interested in this. Let me see. I don't think I have to restart, I think. Hold on, I got to restart. I don't have my camera turned on.
Ah. He's
All right.
back.
So this system makes you restart your shit. And look at that.
Well, I saw the video of you using your whatever pecker.
What do you mean? This thing is, they send it to me. They now send me mine with laser engraved personalization. They don't send you yours like this, Gizzard?
No. No.
No, I don't know. I was just, actually, it's right here. This is my first attempt at lasering something cool, like a piece of wood instead of paper. And you can kind of tell there's like a little bit of depth to that. There was smoke coming out of it. It ate the wood a little bit. And luckily, I got it lined up okay, I think.
If you run it multiple times, will it cut deeper?
Yeah, that was like the second time I've ever used it. The first time I was on paper, like in the video when I first opened it. Now that I played with it a little bit, did I just turn my camera off? Now that I played with it a little bit, I figured out that I can tell it to pass like 9 times. I only had it pass twice on this piece of wood. I can have it pass up to like more than 9 times. But this is the laser cutter, Gizzard. I can show you the barcode. I'm so used to being scared of the barcode. It comes out of that mirror there. You just push this button, you plug it in, and then it sits on a tripod looking down like this.
Oh, wow.
And it just zaps. It's about that far away. It just zaps the thing, and it's really neat.
So you bought that, or did you get it for review or something?
No, I bought this. This is a $400 laser pecker, it's called. They make another version. This is the most portable version. They make a stronger, more durable. I guess that's what it looks like.
I will abstain from the slam dunk I could do with the playing with your pecker.
YouTube's fine with that as long as I don't bring a gun into it. See, I was able to zap the back of my phone case. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's actually pretty cool.
Okay, I'm done.
I want one. But I don't want to pay $400 for it.
Dude, it's so fast too. You set the thing up, you Bluetooth into it, and it's all just through your app. It's really neat. You have to wear a pair of glasses so you don't zap your eyeballs by looking at it, because it's a cutting laser. But it's not my first cutting laser, but it's my first laser engraver, and I love it. It's really neat. Well, so far I love it. It's really neat.
Yeah, I've
I've
looked
been
at
about 8 things.
ones
Only
like that a few times in the past, but then because I'm not not sure on how deep it'll go, if you can make it go deeper, and for
right.
the
Well,
price.
I was gonna say I've engraved like 8 things, and 2 things it took, like because you can't tell until you're done because you're looking at it through those goggles and stuff. I can't tell until it's done. I've tried to do like some screwdriver handles and other plastic things. Some plastic it'll go into, most of it won't though. Wood it goes into, but I've only done 3 passes. I haven't done 13 passes to see how deep it'll go. So as I play with it more, I'll let you know. But it's at this point, yeah, it's not like I'm telling anybody to go pay. I think it's 300. Did I say 400? I think it's 300. It's either 300 or 400. I can't remember what it costs. I didn't
Is
pay for sure.
the plastic that didn't cut, was it more reflective plastic, so it was reflecting the laser back, or was it just
I'll
the
show
you
you.
think the material?
Uh, that's a good question. I think it's the material. It's this. I tried to do this handle with a screwdriver type of material. And then look here. This is why I figured I could, because I zapped this lighter, and you can't tell because it's the shitty focus, but I zapped this lighter, and this is a working lighter still. I zapped this lighter because it was in front of me when I was playing with it, and I went, oh crap, like that dug into the laser. That was one pass. So I was like, oh, it can do plastic. Every other piece of plastic I've done since this lighter doesn't even do anything. So I don't know if it's it can't be the shiny, because look how shiny this is, right? I think it's
Yeah.
just this or better material. This is a material that's probably designed to be able to be pervious to butane or whatever, where this is supposed to be strong, and this is probably supposed to be cheap. But anyway, I'm not sure. I've only zapped like 8 things so far. I haven't had a chance to just play with it. What I'm going to do is I have to set up my new computer at some point. When I set up my new computer, I'm going to try to set that thing up so it can just be set up permanently.
Yeah.
Then I'll zap a whole bunch more shit.
I don't know if I would have zapped a lighter
No, I know. I'm not saying it
with a
was smart.
laser.
And I stopped it as soon as I figured out smoke was coming out of it, because I was it was like the third thing I zapped, so I wasn't sure how fast it would be zapping in there. And yes, I have put my finger in there, and you can definitely, like, when it's zapping, when it's actually cutting, you put your finger in there, and you can feel heat immediately. It doesn't like burn your finger or nothing, but you can feel like you can get heat immediately. It's a tiny little laser, but you can feel the heat of it on your finger. It's pretty neat. I haven't had the balls to put my finger in front of my real cutting lasers that can light cigarettes and stuff, because they can light cigarettes and stuff. But this guy, I did put my finger in front of because it's so little. And technically, it's
Oh,
out of focus. If you put your finger in a laser out of focus, it's no big deal. When you're in focus, that's where it's got all its lights come together, or all its power comes together, I guess, all its heat.
Vulcan Rumble said, I think the guy who believes we're in a black hole is making up excuses for his theories not being true.
Oh, that would be interesting. And the thing I seen was just like one of these Instagram, like, did you know? Like, have you ever thought of this? So it wasn't like it was any kind of like scrutiny, or like, it was just trying to make clicks. So that could totally be. Although it's interesting. I like the concept of it, or the theory of it.
The goddamn bacon said you should try engraving Simtex next time. What could possibly go wrong? Probably nothing would happen. You
No
need
one
to
would
explode
steal.
Simtex.
No, we would steal it. That's what would happen.
It's like C4 you can set on fire and it doesn't explode, it just burns. Well, Gary, do you know what that song is about? I'll say what inspired that song.
I don't know.
There's a sculpture in a park in Seattle called Black Hole Sun, which is
Oh,
a
really?
certain time of the year. It's a big block thing with a hole in the middle, and you look through it and you see the sun.
No.
Can't remember if it's in Gaswork Parks, but that's where the name comes from, is the sculpture called Black Hole Sun.
Very cool.
Well, I remember he says that in the video, or in the song, but what is he singing about that? What's he saying about the black hole sun?
Um,
Or is he saying, won't you come here and meet me there or something? Then?
no, I think it's just inspired by the thing, but then they're not singing about the sculpture.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But that's like Spoon Man is about the Spoon Man who used to play the spoons in Pike Place Market. He homeless dude out front.
Going off topic again, but going back to one of my videos, did you see this video?
No, I don't think I did.
So this, you know what this thing is then, since you don't know the video?
No.
Any ideas? Do you know what this is, Gizzard?
Is it a CD rewinder?
Yeah. So you turn it on, and now does that help at all? Battery indicator. And then let's see, I think I hit this button. And then I can go through. Now it's on 7 players and 4. I don't know what these other buttons are. Now I'm going to hit play. Oh, it doesn't have anything in it. Interesting. So this thing is weighted. You put a deck of cards in here, and then this pushes down on the deck of cards. And that's
does it spin too?
Yeah, it won't spin, I guess, without cards in it. But then, like, you type in 7 players, and it'll go, like, if you put in 4 players, it'll go boom, boom. If you put in 5, it'll make, like, a star. With 7, it makes an even bigger star. So, yeah, when I grabbed this thing, I was like, that looks interesting. I don't know what it is, though. And then I brought it home, and I figured it out. This is, depending on where you buy it, a $200 card dealer. $200. Wow. Anyway, I thought this thing was a pretty cool find.
It'd be great if you actually had friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen the tables?
I'm going to give it to somebody like a family who has people to play with it.
Have you seen the tables that deal?
I've seen the things that deal the chips or some kind of game like dominoes or something.
Yeah. I've seen the card table, everybody sitting at the card table, and like you shove all the cards into a hole in the middle, and then it shuffles them and then shoots them out little slots, and when it deals them.
No, that would be awesome. You know what I'm talking about with the mahjong or the dominoes or something, and then like you shove all the chips into a hole, and then it comes up and gives everybody their chips. But you're talking about the same thing with cards. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I think that'd be neat. And it can't be that hard because these kind of things are all just simple machines. So, yeah, I would think it wouldn't be too hard. Anyway, so I guess that's the last of the stuff that's on my table here that I can do for show and tell.
So, what's that?
It's just a piece of wood that I also engraved, but I don't think you can see it on there. So I only put it like 2 passes on this.
So next chat will be next Saturday night. And unless you guys have anything else, I'd just like to say, if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with? Let me know. I read all the comments, and they are always appreciated. So thank you, G-Webs. Thank you, Gary. And I hope everybody else has a good rest of the night, and go do something good.